want? Oh, you want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down. Well, sentimental hogwash. I wish I had $1 million.
You asked interrogative question around my suit. It's gone.
What are you doing?
That is not paid for by them. That is paid for by the people of Detroit.
You might be qualified, ML.
I'm not qualified for this job.
Let me tell you something. You want to go right now? Okay? You want to go right now, Albert?
Hey, kids. It's your international pal, ML Elric, back in the basement for yet another edition of The Soul of Detroit, our pre-Christmas edition. I wish I could say it's great to be back, but it's cold here, it's gray here, and all the beer's more expensive. But that's just life.
What'd you bring back? What strand of COVID did you bring back?
None. I was tested hours before I got on my flight. They got that swab so far at my nose, I think it started coming out the other nostril, and I was told that I am negative. I also have had the Moderna booster just before I left the country, and that one seems to be effective in fighting the Omicron or the Omicron, whatever you want to call it.
I didn't mean to get into the whole COVID thing. I just wanted to do a joke.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, just get your booster, folks. And if you haven't been vaccinated, you can be like that state senator from Washington who didn't want anybody to get vaccinated, and then with his dying breath said, "Somebody give me some shit." So we don't wish ill on anybody. But it's time to take this seriously, because if these bars and restaurants start closing and we can't go to sporting events again and all this other stuff, we don't want to go back there. So let's all just try and do our part. That's what Sean Windsor does. He always tries to do his part.
I try, but not, I don't always succeed.
He doesn't. The only thing he doesn't part is his hair.
What hair do I have to part?
That's what I mean, because it's one hair. You take a laser to part that thing.
Yeah.
And Mark Fellhauer's here. He's the one trying to drag us into controversial topics already. It's why it's tough to be back. You know, when you call into the show from Zoom, you can just say, we're having a problem with the Zoom. I don't have to answer that question because I can pretend I didn't hear it. But
yeah, that's what we do on the other end, too.
What's happening here,
what?
Mark?
I thought
What do
you
you
guys
mean?
were hanging with rapt attention on every word from Costa Rica.
I don't understand what's happening.
What do you mean? Take over, Sean.
Mike doesn't want to be back.
No, I think he likes being in Chicago or Costa Rica or
Yeah.
any other
Or anywhere.
anywhere but here.
Anywhere but here. And we
why?
graciously gave him an out yesterday.
We did. We tried.
Said, hey, it's Christmas. You don't need to come in. And now he's coming in and saying, I don't want to be here, but I'm here.
No, I didn't say I don't want to be here. I'm just saying it would be nice
I'd
to
rather be anywhere but here.
No,
Sorry.
I'm saying it'd be nice to be someplace warmer with cheaper beer,
Okay.
where I don't wake up thinking, "Oh shit, am I going to get a job?"
Okay.
But we have a special guest, and one of the reasons why we wanted to do this, or why I wanted to do this, even though Mark and Sean didn't, it'll be kind of tough to figure that out with their energy levels as high as they are today, is Kalina Neese is with us, who is our NIL name, image, and likeness sponsored athlete, a member of the varsity rowing team at Michigan State University. More on that in just a second. Who got her letter this year, so she came in here with her varsity jacket and some cookies. And when Sean saw the varsity jacket and cookies, he said, "Cookies!"
I don't remember saying that.
He didn't say that. But we also, before we get to Kalina, I want to give a special thank you to Zach Pashik of Detroit Bikes, who is responsible for me being able to present to my co-hosts their Christmas gift, which is the custom-made Soul of Detroit Bikes Type A bike. If I say bike one more time, it's going to sound funny, but as you can see, it's a pretty damn good-looking bike. If you're watching us here on YouTube, where we're on channel ML Elric, we'd appreciate it if you would subscribe. And
How much did that bike cost you?
We're back on Facebook Live. We're having a Zoom problem here. We're back on Facebook Live at Facebook page ML Elric. Feel free to watch us there, but we really want to get off of Facebook because Facebook meta sucks, and we're trying to move everybody over to YouTube, where they're a little more easy to deal with. So,
Well, make sure you thank Zach for the bike.
oh yeah, I did.
Not
thank
you,
Zach.
but Zach. What? Did you pay for it?
This show entered into an agreement with Mr.
Oh.
Pashik, and part
Now
of
it sounds like a quid pro quo.
No. We were going to buy these bikes.
Present.
And unlike Mark and Sean, he had such a good time being on the podcast.
I have a great time.
That, can we skip this week and next week? I got to go
Have a life to live.
and do nothing.
Yeah.
So,
Never mind the holidays.
I'm here with bells on.
My only concern about doing a show today is it's really going to cut into prep time for Sean and Carlos' podcast. And I know, with all this energy that Sean is emitting, there'll be very little there to bring that sort of dynamic duo to the apex of the.
No, we actually recorded yesterday because our producer needed to go on a holiday break, and so we did that for him.
Sean, you're welcome.
Sorry, Mark.
to officially take a week off anytime, as opposed to this show up and pee at Drew's house routine that you've kind of settled into.
You know what I mean?
Pee at Drew's house and shit on the show.
Yeah, it's. Well, anyways, like I said, I'm glad to be back, and I'm great. I'm
No,
glad
you're not. You would rather be in Costa Rica. Don't lie.
I'm glad to be back. I'm just saying, if I could do the show from a beach, that would be great too, or a mountain, or someplace where Sergey loves to spend time chasing snakes and crocodiles. We had a last day where we went to some bridge where when you look down, there's dozens of crocodiles. I mean, like monster crocodiles where they almost look like islands out there. And so I was like, okay, cool. There's the crocodiles. He said, well, we got to get closer. I said, no, we don't. And he started instructing me on, if you're within 10 feet of a crocodile, you can probably, outrun it. And I said, well, do you run zigzag? I've heard you run zigzag. And he said, no, not really, but you can probably outrun the croc. Then he started telling me some caveats to that. And I said, whoa. I said, hold on. I just want to be completely upfront because you're my friend and I respect you and you've made this trip possible. So I'm grateful. But I am not going to be within 1,000 feet of a crocodile. So this advice is really not going to do me any good because I don't want to go anywhere near a crocodile. And after a little off-roading, we ended up on the shores of this river where we saw the crocs from the beach. And I'm like, okay, we're getting too close. And he's walking around, sticking his head in bushes and stuff. And I said, dude, let me just tell you right now, if you get grabbed, the only thing I'm going to do is tell your family how you died. I'm not going in there. I'm not putting my hands in that thing, nothing like that. And he said, okay. And then he disappears in this big pile of palm leaves and reeds and stuff like that. And I'm like, and then he comes running out yelling crocodile and he's running towards me. And I'm thinking,
what's the point?
Don't lead the crocodile over here. And then he stops suddenly. And then there's all this shit flying out of his bag. He's trying to get his camera. And then he goes running back in this pile of reeds. And I said, dude, next time you come running towards me yelling crocodile, I'm going to keep running. And I just expect you to not run past me.
Has he never seen a crocodile before?
No, he has. He's caimans, these little crocodiles.
That's what I mean. Are they any different? You've seen one, you've seen them all, right?
If you ask me if you've seen one, you've seen too many. But this dude's really into reptiles and stuff. And that's...
yeah, but aren't they all the same?
In fact, he's so into reptiles, he said, I'd love to come and meet Sean in person.
Thank you.
There's that joke support you expect from Sean.
He also likes sloths.
Thank you.
Are you all right, Sean?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, are you?
I'm great. I'm doing wonderful.
Well, you give a guy a bike.
Yeah, that was.
And
really
this is his response. I'm gonna ride that.
That's really nice. That's a very nice present, isn't it, Mark?
What a stupid present.
There's your inner monologue.
I didn't know they were coming.
Are you okay? Did you have a stroke? I'm worried about you.
Oh,
you seem very. I don't know.
Just tired.
Yeah.
The difference between this bike and Sean's bike at home is this one has a seat on it.
You told that joke.
You're gonna eventually.
I test marketed it. It didn't do so well in Ann Arbor, so I knew it was funny.
You will break him down eventually today.
Yeah.
No, he's already broken down.
Why are you so tired?
I'm not sure.
Kalina, I'm worried about him.
When are we going to get to our guest?
That Carlos and Sean thing must have tuckered you. We're just trying to charge you up, man. We're just trying to
get you fired up,
pump some energy into you, get to have that multiplier
It's a Christmas
effect.
season.
It's like a particle accelerator. We blast lasers. They go around in some thing, and then they come out stronger. And it's
there must be something about Christmas you like.
Oh yeah, Christmas is nice. When are we going to talk to Kalina? Or unless you want to talk more about
you.
Unless you want to talk more about baby crocodiles.
Oh, are you guys going to fight again? Here we go. All right, yeah.
I think one crock over there is enough. Only because Sean insists, and because he has to pee again, we're going to invite Kalina to take over. Kalina, what's going on? How are things going in East Lansing?
Pretty good. The semester was rough, to say the least, but I think it was pretty rough for everyone in East Lansing, but I'm glad to be home.
Why? Because of COVID, or just in general?
It's been a little scary to live in East Lansing lately. There's been a lot of disappearing, a lot of like air tagging.
What's
air tagging?
Yeah, explain.
So, you know,
that.
like
Would you like a bike, by the way? What would you do if somebody gave you a bike?
I would bring it up to school with me and use it to get to class.
well,
Would
there
you be
go.
excited?
Yeah.
Would you tell your friends?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you wear branded merchandise?
I already do.
I know, but I'm just saying, Sean's here. He looks like a guy who got cut from On the Waterfront. The guy who's like, I never could have been a champion. I never could have been anybody. I never could have been a contender.
His expression has not changed in the last 20 minutes.
It's all true.
Wow. You ever see that cartoon, The Shmoo?
No. What?
No?
Was
Okay,
this
never
from
mind. We'll just move on.
1820?
No, that yes, I saw it at a Nickelodeon. It was okay. Sorry, Kalina, we're going back to the start
Explain
of the
the
show.
airdrop
So
thing.
yeah, what's
Oh.
an air tag?
So, you know, Apple sells those little AirTag things
Yeah.
that you can put in your wallet, on your keys, whatever. So if you lose them, you tap a button on your phone,
Yeah,
it rings.
like a tile or a
Yeah.
okay.
People are dropping those in people's shoes and bags and stuff when they go out to the bars or whatever to track them. Mm-hmm. So that's just another thing I have to look out for when I'm walking around campus.
So like I can see parents doing that, but these are roommates or stalkers or
yeah, just random people. When I went to semis for my sorority, we went down to Detroit and we went to level 2. On the way back, one of the girls got a notification. Something was following her. She looked in her shoe. There was an AirTag in her shoe.
How much are these things?
$100, you get 4 of them.
Yeah.
But she must have had an
What?
Apple phone, because Apple will say, Apple will know if you have an iPhone,
Yeah.
that, hey, there is an AirTag that's not yours that is with you right now. And I only know that because there's been a rash of auto thefts.
Yeah.
Because people will put an AirTag on cars, you know, luxury cars, to see where they go, where they live, and then go back later at their leisure or their convenience to rob them. Now, I don't know how successful they've been with that, because a lot of people have iPhones that catch it.
But it's the same with people now. They're
Yeah, that's wild.
yeah.
That's-
There's,
So you can tell if someone has put an air tag on
if you have an iPhone.
if you have an iPhone,
it detects it.
If you have an Android, you can get an app that will do it too.
yeah, it'll just
Isn't that
say
crazy?
there's an AirTag that's following you that's not yours.
That's not crazy. That's
It's bananas.
creepy.
yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's wild.
Sean's heating up. What's a
And we're worried about microchips and vaccinations?
I know that's a fair point.
well because the vaccination puts a microchip in you that turns you into a magnet.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we've got this actual real thing.
But so I want to find out, do these, like if some person you don't know or someone who you didn't know was interested in you puts an AirTag on you, do people say, oh, that's so sweet, I'm going to call Norman Bates and let him know that I appreciate the attention? Or do people call the cops and say, hey, perv in my shoe?
It's a lot of just like go to the cops, give them the AirTag, they disable it. But
What happens to the tag? Can you trace the tagger back to the stalker?
I mean, I think so. I've never been able to do it. Like I've never gotten AirTagged. A lot of my friends have.
You're very taggable. I mean that in the nicest way possible.
Well, I try to Uber everywhere, but Ubers aren't even safe anymore. I don't really know what to do. So as long as I'm with my
Wait,
friends.
why aren't Uber safe now? They're safe.
You need another story? There was a Uber driver that once again followed one of my sorority sisters into her house.
What?
And like was telling her the whole time, like, God told me to find you. God brought us together.
Whoa.
And it took us over a year to get him taken out of the Uber system, and he finally got arrested.
Yeah, Uber doesn't seem to be terribly responsive when they do have an issue with the driver.
No.
Not
It's
at
so
all.
hard to get him to
Nationally.
pick you up.
Hence
that
her
they're-
point that it's not safe.
Yeah.
Damn.
East Lansing's a scary place right now with the whole Brendan Santos thing, everything going on. Like,
What is going on with that story? Because here it is just dropped out of the media. The media is just like, we'll do a story on it once in a while. Like they were hard on it for about, a week, maybe 2 weeks. And then I haven't heard a word about him. He's still missing.
so he went missing. I actually wrote an article about this. He went missing coming from Yakeley Hall back to Brody, and I live right
Like
behind
how far
Brody.
away? I mean, is it a long distance?
No, it's not far, but the river is in between.
Yeah.
So I always thought maybe he fell in the river, but they searched the river. There's been search crews everywhere. It seems like he just disappeared out of thin air.
Now, that's not a big river, though, is it? Or
It's
is
been
it?
flooded
It's
lately.
not very deep, and things get stuck. You know, there's little rapids, and when they throw bikes and whatnot in there, occasionally you'll see them stuck in. I mean, it's not the sort of
that's
river where
kind of-
you're going to be at the bottom of it for a couple of days.
Yeah,
and then bob up.
as morbid as it is, a body would come up
Yeah.
Yes.
after this much time.
Yes, and it's been kind of a mild winter so far, so it's not like you'd be trapped under the ice. That river moves so rapidly that it never freezes, which is why you have ducks year round at Michigan State. That and they think Michigan sucks. A lot of wisdom in ducks.
So what?
Sean's nodding. He's heating up. He's heating up.
So what
No,
is
these air tags, I can't get them out of my head.
Really?
Are they attached to burner phones?
Probably.
Is that what's going on? So
No,
people
nobody
don't-
wants to tag you. Don't worry about it.
No, I'm not. No, of course not.
I don't tag people, so I wouldn't know. I just know to look in my shoes when I leave places.
If Sean was on Wild Kingdom and you tagged him and you were tracking with a helicopter, the helicopter would be stationary.
But I gotta say,
It'd just be hovering because he's.
Well, there's no reason to tag me. I don't move.
but
That's exactly my point. Thank you, Marlon Perkins.
Is the AirTag thing, is it really an issue, or is it happened a few times and police are like, hey, heads up, or people are like, oh, look out? I mean, is it a real concern, or, I mean, I honestly don't know. There have been,
I know about 4 or 5 girls who have been air tagged.
but what?
So, and I know everyone keeps, like, they'll put them on the sidewalk and wait for you to step on it and stick to your shoe.
Jesus.
But what? I mean, what's the point? Do you track a person? What are you gonna do?
Like, I don't know. I don't air tag these people.
I'm just trying to think like a criminal.
Creeps, just as a courtesy, as a public service, we'd like to tell you that you're wasting your money. If somebody gets your tag
Well,
on
it's
their
very
shoe,
big-
they don't just say, "Oh my God, it's like Romeo's been reincarnated as Steve Jobs."
It's a scary technology, but it's a
Working
very
boys.
beatable technology.
Yeah.
That's what I don't understand why it would. Is it really that big of a concern?
Not as much, but it's just like another thing. Like, people are trying to follow me everywhere. I don't appreciate that.
Yeah,
What about jealous
the world's a scary
boyfriends?
place.
Is it mainly jealous people trying to like? She said she's going to the library to study. It looks like
Yeah.
she ended up going to Dublin's.
Yeah, so they can yell at you or.
I don't know. People can track each other on Snapchat, for
Yeah.
God's sakes. Why are they having to put tags on people? I don't really get it.
Well, with Facebook, you
people
can track
posted-
your friends.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, I used to, when we were following people, so I'd follow a lot of people on social media to see what they were up to, good or bad. But then if you had to surveil them, you wanted to make sure that you didn't have that turned down. So you'd be like, your friend is on the street. I'm like, well, it's 5 a.m. What the hell's Elric doing in front of my house? That's not good. We disabled that stuff.
I
But
think we.
it's been around for a while.
I think we willingly give up a lot of privacy in technology, and that's
Yeah.
I guess that's just the trade-off. It's gonna be a little scary, but so many people willingly put stuff out there to say, "Hey, here I am, and this is where I am, and this is what I'm doing." It's like I don't want any of that out there.
yeah.
It does seem like the notion of don't pay attention to me is long gone. Everybody wants to be seen. They want to be
there's-
famous. They want to be TikTok.
And
they
there's
want to be
danger to that, but I don't know how much of it is really dangerous.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's just creepy. So people are disappearing. One guy's disappeared. You're getting air tagged. What else is going on?
Not much.
How's your podcast doing?
It's doing good. It's actually gotten better, more listeners and stuff. But it's really one of those podcasts where it's only really important to students at Michigan State.
Oh, it has a focus,
Yeah, it's all based on
unlike some.
clubs
Right, Sean?
on campus.
Sean is keenly focused.
I know.
He's so
It's on
singularly
Facebook
focused.
He's
Messenger.
freaked out about the air. Or he's ordering air. You were ordering air tags. Is that what you're doing on your phone?
No, somebody just texted me.
Is it important?
Just, I can see his
Wait,
phone.
wait,
It
wait.
says,
Let me.
Was it more important than the show?
it says Carlos
Everything's more
topic for next week, air tagging.
Everything's more important.
No, let me rephrase that. Of course, it's important. Everything's important. Right? I don't want to dismiss anybody.
No, nothing's important.
No, and everything's
I'm not a
important. Nothing's
nihilist.
important.
I'm just
What are you
tired.
saying I am?
I'm just tired. I need a break. You know.
What's going on in Sean Windsor? Let's put you on the couch. Why?
I'm just a regular break this week. That's okay, right?
Too much Lions excitement to cover?
He is
that-
wiped out
that was
from the
crazy.
Carlos and Sean podcast yesterday. He's still trying to recover. His reservoirs are depleted.
That was crazy.
Well, the Carlos and Sean podcast had a very. I saw the topic was about Dylan Larkin, or not Dylan Larkin.
Last
it was
week,
Bertuzzi.
Bertuzzi, yeah.
How much like bullshit argument and feedback did you get about that? Because I bet you a lot of people hated that.
Well, I mean, a lot of people listened to it, which we were
Sure,
surprised. But
As
we don't
we-
really get feedback like Mike does
it's
here.
a divisive
you know?
topic.
Of course it is. Yeah. No, I have not missed a show here in 2 years, and it's time for a fucking break. That's all.
Anytime, that's fine. Just don't take the break on the air if you're going to come. Be here.
No,
You wasted a lot of gas to not be here.
no, look, man, it's all good. I'm glad you're back, even though you're not.
Oh my God.
Would you like a
Sean,
bite? Clean?
the human
Would you-
break.
Yes,
You're the human break.
Okay.
So I guess next week we're gonna have to bring a pony. I mean, you're up in the stakes. Well, we got engagement here. Is okay.
No, you
Anyway,
get
so
nothing.
Kalina, let's talk about your podcast, which I assume you're excited to do every
Yeah,
time.
we
you
were
do
having
it.
a nice
Have
conversation
people
with
on who
Kalina.
are.
Don't keep coming back to me.
We just want your reactions, Kalina. You were so. I want to go
that-
back. Can we go
by
back
the
to
way,
the
that
article?
exit door is not locked. You can
Don't tempt me.
go through it at any time. I'll get the bike over there.
Don't tempt me. That is a nice bike, by the way.
Kalina, you said you wrote
Very,
an
very
article
generous.
on Brendan Santo, right?
I
Missing.
did.
So, were there any theories developed as to what happened to this guy?
Not really. I mean, everyone's saying stuff all over the place around campus. Some people are like, "Oh, well, he was kidnapped." Some people think
What are the police saying? They
nothing.
won't offer anything.
They just say the city is safe. You're fine. Go to class.
Really?
That's all they will say, and
I mean, 18-year-olds just don't vanish into thin air.
that's what seems to happen.
Well, they do, but what ends up happening is after a couple of days, or after, I hate to say it, a thaw, they are found, usually
Yeah.
under a tree in the woods, drunk. You know, I mean, this when I worked in New Hampshire, there was a kid who disappeared from New England College, and he went to a party, had too much to drink, got lost, decided to have a little nap under a tree. Next thing you know, popsicle. I mean, that happens. But this year, I mean,
been
they've
2 months. This has
they've
been
been
2 months
combing
for
the
him.
campus. There's billboards out. The family and friends have been very active in trying to trace this guy. One of the differences in 2021 that we didn't have in 1995 is that almost everybody who goes somewhere has a phone on them
Yeah.
that you can locate them from. You can triangulate. Maybe they've been air tagged. You know, there are ways to find people through their devices, or at least find out where they were last sighted by where they pinged on a cell tower or
There's
something.
cameras everywhere too.
So it's staggering to think that this young man, I mean, my hope is whatever he's into, he's still alive, and whatever
Sure.
trauma he's endured, he'll be able to get, treatment to help with. But, anything is better than dying out there. And Michigan State does have a big, roaming, woodsy campus. But God, I got to believe if he's still anywhere in the vicinity of Beaumont Tower, he would have been found by now.
I mean, it was just in between where old campus is, and then you just walk across Harrison, and that's where Brody is. So he wasn't going that far.
No, you've got the stadiums there. You've got Harrison, a busy road. You've got Grand River Avenue, probably the busiest road in East Lansing. They meet at Michigan Avenue, incredibly busy. This is not the kind of place where there's no foot traffic. It's not the kind of place that's not developed. Yeah, there's some trees by Munn, but whatever, easy to see through those. And it's also not the kind of place where if somebody threw a gunny sack over your head and threw you in the trunk and you were wailing, that someone wouldn't see this and say, "What the hell did I just witness?"
Yeah.
Well, that's
It's
another
very strange.
interesting thing to this story, because he's a man that people aren't going to say human trafficking. I mean, you hear that a lot
Yeah.
when a woman is missing, human trafficking, all this kind of stuff. But that people pretty much dismiss that theory with him, which I understand why. So I don't know if it's not an
It's
accident.
just so weird. If someone were to take him, first off, it was Halloween weekend. Mm-hmm. Everyone was out all hours of the night that weekend. Someone would have to see it. I walked home at like 2 a.m. on Halloween.
That's so
And there
weird.
was a million other people on the street, right? Like, other people were out there. They would have saw something. So I don't know what happened.
Yeah. So and what did the podcast? What did you know? What did you guys shed on this? What new did you bring to the whole situation?
It was for a class actually. I wrote an article just about like what happened, how can you help, where I know his family has a GoFundMe up that's funding.
Yeah, there's I think a $10,000 reward or something.
Yeah, more than that.
And just how to contact MSUPD if you have any insights. And people keep saying they have sightings of him all the time, but I'm sorry, every white boy on campus looks like Brendan Santos. They all got that brown fluffy hair. They all look the same.
Yeah, it's Justin Bieber.
Yeah,
refugees. For your next podcast, could you help us put out a search notice for?
I know.
Oh, there he is.
I knew.
Oh, and you got him to laugh. Look at him.
Well, as soon as you said that, I knew what was
like
coming.
a bubble rising from the swamp.
Oh my God! No,
He's
can I
reached
ask you
the
a serious
surface and
question?
burst.
He just expelled way too much energy laughing, though.
I did.
He's going to be out for the rest of the show now.
I'm going to go lie down.
Instead of a bike, I should have got him a stretcher.
Clean it. Serious question. You mentioned, did you use the word scary to describe what it feels like up there?
Yeah, it is scary.
Just overall, is this something that you talk about with your friends and you kind of get the vibe up there in that way?
Well, I feel like every week someone else is getting kidnapped. Someone's jumping off a parking garage. There was a shooting somewhere. There was someone who pulled a knife somewhere. I feel like every week I hear something new.
Have you altered your behavior?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
I used to walk home by myself pretty much every weekend, and I refuse now. My friends at my sorority house make me leave my keys there, so I have to come back with them and stay with them at the house.
Well, that's good. Everyone's looking out for each other.
And do you know what Dance Moms is?
No.
You don't.
I'd love to hear about it.
Sadly, I do.
Well,
They do a thing called a pyramid, right? Each week, and they put the girls in order from worst to best. And we did a pyramid.
What? We're ranking women now? That doesn't seem too appropriate.
They're dance moms. They're not human.
I was going to say.
Okay.
So my sorority sisters
human.
and I started doing this, and they kept putting me at the bottom of the pyramid because I'd walk home alone. So now I'm at the top of the pyramid because I don't walk home anymore.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
Good.
Well, we want to get a little bit to Kalina's status as our NIL, our name and image likeness sponsored athlete. But first, we need to tell you who makes it possible for us to sponsor anybody, and that's the people who sponsor us. So the Caju Cafe is one of our loyal sponsors and a place where you may see me occasionally bending an elbow and then riding my Detroit bike home, because when I go to a bar, I like to be within biking distance of home. Never been tagged, just not tag worthy, but it's tough to be an old guy.
How many are you going to read here?
Just one, but it's going to take forever.
Oh, because I wondered if I had a minute. I mean,
You got a minute. Go.
I hate to do it, but
Yeah, no,
I'm an old man.
Go.
no. This prostate
could've
break
just done
brought
it,
to you
not-
by the,
Could have just what?
You could have just laughed. And not
yeah,
said
just
anything.
the very
But now your prostate
No,
break is
Mike was
sponsored.
talking about it at the top of the show, so now I feel obligated. You know what
the
I mean?
very thought of having a beer makes Sean
fulfill
have to
that
pee.
stereotype.
He's having a sympathetic urination.
At
so
least it's something
please.
else to sponsor.
Yeah, we've yeah.
See if you can make it back by the end of the sponsorship.
Sometimes we maybe.
I bet you can.
We should have Joe Theismann sponsorship with the Saw Palmetto capsulets or whatever the hell it is. By the way, is he in one of these commercials now? One of these fake football commercials where he's doing play-by-play? Is
Yes.
that him?
Yes, he
Has
is.
he had a lot of work done?
Oh boy, it really it does look like it, right?
I mean, I'm like, is that? It almost looks like CGI Joe Theismann from 1980 or something. His
Heisman's a weird.
face is all puffy.
I love him. He's like my favorite player when I was a kid too.
Theismann.
And then LT had to break his leg.
He changed his name from Theismann to Hutchison, so it'd be easier for him to compete for the Heisman.
Boy, man, that still smarts at you, huh?
Doak Walker Award. That's what's scary on campus. Michigan State and Jag.
Oh,
Anyways,
I got a question about State when you're done with sponsoring Sean's bathroom.
Yeah, and
break.
let's get through all the sponsors while Sean's gone. That way, he looked like he had a full bag.
I'm worried about the guy.
Not me. I think he's just going to dehydrate. The Caju Cafe has lots of great beer and clean restroom facilities. They're filling up for holiday parties, but you know what? They always have room for you. They are closed on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, but they are back at it on December 26th. If you missed out on an opportunity to book your holiday party in December, January is a great month to have parties, to be the one who says the season will never end. Don't waste any more time. Book your company or your group event. Do some feather bowling, drink a few beers, catch some live music, they had a great DJ in there when we had our campaign wrap-up party earlier this month. Great DJ, great sound, great place to sing, dance, drink, eat, all the good things that make life worth living, make life worth coming back from Costa Rica for. To find out more, go to CadeuxCafe.com. That's CADIEUX CAFE dot. That's just a period and then com. COM. And then if you're looking to secure your financial future, the stock market is going crazy right now. But there's one guy who knows how to ride that killer wave and get you through the still waters on your way to a
That would be Luke Nowacki.
There's only one person that comes to mind when I think that's Mr.
At Pinnacle Wealth, 248-663-4748 for rational financial advice. What do you do with your money? This market's bananas. End of the year, too. You can do a lot of tax advantages at the end of the year if you just give Luke a call. Once again, 248-663-4748. Stocks, bonds, do I sell, do I buy, 401ks, 529s, what do I max out? I have no idea. Get advice, get a strategy. Call Luke Nowacki. He knows. Pinnacle Wealth, once again, 248-663-4748.
Because when you call Luke Nowacki, he'll make it all about you, sweetheart.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Royal Alliance Associates Inc. Member FINRA SIPC. Royal Alliance Associates Inc. is separately owned, and other entities and/or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent of Royal Alliance Associates Inc.
You're just waving to the Facebook crowd.
Yeah, no, well, sorry, it's great to be with you, and of course, our friends on.
But you wanted my attention. What did you want my
YouTube.
attention for?
Yeah, I wanted to know what Hall Financial is doing with all these interest rates getting fiddled around with, and it looks like these super low refinancings. That if you're looking to do that, this I know you've been putting it off.
And all joking
act.
aside, we've been saying this for a year that rates are going to go up. They will go up 3 times next year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fact. The Fed already announced that. So Hall Financial right now, they're giving the gift of free appraisals this holiday season. You have until December 31st. If you're thinking about selling your current home or purchasing a new home, take advantage of this special offer right now. Call Hall Financial and get started with a free appraisal. Not only will they cover the cost of the appraisal, but they can help close the loan in as little as 8 days. There's tons of testimonials on their website, including a couple from Mr. M.L. Elric.
That's right, 5 stars.
Yeah, they have over 4,000 5-star reviews, but check them out, callhallfirst.com, callhallfirst.com, or you can actually pick up a telephone and call them.
Ask for Dan Morrison. Haul ass to Hall Financial before these rates go up. There are great deals to be had. Don't miss out.
866-CALL-HALL. But I wanted to ask you, and now that...
NMLS 146735?
Are you sure about that? I don't have it on the...
146735.
I didn't have it on the script. So.
I think that's right.
So that did take a while, Mark.
Well, we did all of them while you were gone.
We were waiting. It's like Luke Nowacki says, don't piss away your investments.
We want you to...
Tie a knot in it.
Nothing from them.
Oh, just, I'm trying not to say anything that's inappropriate. So
Nothing's inappropriate.
No.
Knock it off. You want to fight with him again?
Michigan State student here.
The tinkling of
What
your
does that have
voice.
to do with anything?
So let's talk. So we need to talk
Because you're like
about
19.
I'm 20.
Okay, 20.
She's an adult, so she can handle adult things.
Really? Can you rent a car?
No.
Okay.
I can't rent a car.
That's the only thing she can't do.
To me, that's the cutoff.
So I guess drink.
That's how it was with my
I guess
kids.
drink. Wink, wink.
if they can rent a car, they're an adult.
Yeah, because then you're like 25, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Sometimes it
And
takes
then,
till 30 or in
I have
my
a secret
case,
for you, Kalina.
50. How old are you, Mike?
It's all
Are you
downhill
sure?
after that.
Are you sure you got
It's
it
already
all?
all downhill.
Maybe you need to go.
That's
and
the
shake.
problem, man.
Here we go.
More.
No, I'm not
Here
going
we
to
go.
say it.
Gloves are off.
So
what? Fight him. What?
So
Fight.
You never get it all. That's the issue. All right?
Never get all of what?
Do I have to spell it out?
no.
Okay.
No.
What are you guys fighting about now?
He said, did you get it all? I'm like, you never get it all.
By the
That's
way,
the thing.
you know,
you get old, you lose.
At the end of every show, Sean shakes my hand. Have you washed your hand?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, but I really don't pee on my hand. It's like George Carlin's old line, right?
Yeah.
About, I'll start washing my hands after I take a dump when I wipe my ass with my hand.
The problem is the doorknobs and
Yeah, right.
other crap.
You remember Carlin's line?
Gross. Yeah.
I was never a big
You've referenced
George
it before.
Carlin fan, and thanks for reminding me why.
Wait, you're not a big George Carlin fan?
No.
A little too mean for you?
I always thought he was.
There's only room for one guy like that.
Wait,
on the planet?
you thought he was a dick?
Yeah, I always thought he was obnoxious and very pleased with himself, and I didn't like the little old man ponytail.
Okay, that I
Wow,
agree
judge
with
a
you
book
with.
by its cover. He was a very generous, nice guy off the stage too. You might not like his stage presence. I think you would
You
love him.
thought he was too judgy?
I think you would love him because
I just thought he was gratuitously obnoxious, but that's fine.
Too impressed with himself?
he's so good with wordplay. I think
I
you
know
would
where
like
you're going with this, but
No, I'm not. I promise you.
self-satisfied.
I'm genuinely curious. I'm not trying to do that.
My natural inclination is when I see somebody who thinks they're the smartest guy in the room, I think they're really announcing to me I'm the biggest dick in the room.
But he's the guy
I
on
would generally
stage that
agree
people are
with that.
paying to see.
I didn't pay to see him.
And that's
You
a
asked me
role.
how I felt about him. I
Wow.
saved my
Hey,
money
what
on
comic?
George
Let me ask
Carlin.
you this: what comics do you like? What stand-ups?
I like Jim Gaffigan a lot. I like
Nice,
Jerry,
wholesome
So
humor.
do my parents.
I like Jerry Seinfeld a lot.
Again, nice, wholesome
clean.
humor. Yeah. Bill Cosby, do you?
I like Bill Cosby, but I wouldn't let
Only
I
off the
wouldn't-
stage.
Yeah, I wouldn't let somebody who could rent a car hang out with him alone.
Imagine what he would do with
Apartment.
AirTags. God damn it!
Well,
I can't
let me.
believe I just said that.
let me
With a blasphemy thrown in. Merry Christmas.
That's a funny callback.
Baby
Joe.
Jesus
Don't ever
just
apologize.
said, you took my name in vain.
Let me ask you this. So,
We were trying to get to Colleen.
Baby Jesus.
well, ask Kalina this then.
Okay,
Oh,
let's
no.
ask Baby.
Guys,
Let's
no,
ask
don't
Baby
answer.
Jesus.
Okay.
Oh no.
So you know all about Bill Cosby, right? You probably wouldn't
Yeah.
watch his stand-up now, though, would you?
No.
Because
Would
it's not,
you like a pudding pop?
because it's not funny. Because it's not funny. Right?
He was hilarious.
Or
What are you
was
talking
funny.
about?
Okay. Let me,
The
let me
original
find,
Bill
let me find a better
Cosby
example.
show, hilarious.
Let me find a better
The Cosby's a little weak, but the original Bill Cosby show, the one he did in like the 60s and 70s,
Of course, because it's older.
I like Fat Albert.
hilarious. Fat Albert also funny, and the Fat Albert Gang.
Yeah.
Although now you shouldn't be body shaming Albert.
All right. I wish I didn't say Bill Cosby. Let me. How about Louis? Do you know Louis C.K.?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen his stand-up?
Yeah.
Okay. You know what he did, right?
Yeah.
Masturbated, for those that don't, masturbated in front of two female comics. They didn't like it, and then he tried to destroy their career. Well, he's back. He has a new special out on his website. I paid for it and watched it. Am I a bad person?
Yes, but not for that
No,
reason.
it's just- I asked Kalina, not you.
Because you're supporting public masturbation
Well, and it's I don't like what
from
he
a
did.
man in power.
I don't like what he did, but I can separate the art from the act.
I wouldn't watch it if that says
Because of that.
Yeah, I
Really?
wouldn't want to support someone who did that.
So I'm a bad person.
I wouldn't say you're a bad person. I just wouldn't do it
Dave
myself.
Chappelle. You know, there's a lot of anger about Dave Chappelle, and
I like Dave Chappelle. He's very funny.
I don't know. I mean, I like Pete Davidson, and a lot of people don't like Pete Davidson for what he did to like Mac Miller.
yeah,
but I
that's
still
not,
watch-
That's not a crime. I mean, that's just.
Yeah, but it's
'Cause I'm
still
really
like one of those
intrigued-
things where it's like a lot of people don't like him and don't want to support him because of that. But I still support him.
What'd
So
you
I
say
like-
about Dave Chappelle?
I don't know anything about Dave Chappelle.
Okay.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh,
Eddie
wow,
Murphy,
interesting.
very funny. Richard Pryor, I like those guys. I like the old comics. You
but
don't
what
have to be clean. It doesn't have to be Jim Gaffigan, Jerry
Or Jim
Seinfeld.
Gaffigan.
What did I say, Jerry? Whatever.
Graffigan.
Do you like Jon Stewart?
Yeah, Jon Stewart's funny.
What about Don Rickles?
I never really liked
Best.
Don Rickles
What?
that much.
Really?
God, I love Don
It's
Rickles.
phenomenal.
Yeah, and being gratuitously nasty is never really funny to me. But
What about David Letterman?
Letterman was funny.
Well,
I don't think he's aged very well. I think some of his routines with people.
But that's
would,
okay. That's kind of where I'm
very,
getting to
very
this
bad.
whole thing. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can judge by today's standards, and I like that Kalina's here because you're, like you said, 20 years old. I'm 45. Stand up was huge growing up, and I love stand ups. I just think it's a great art form. But I think it's dead now because of cancellation, and I just wanted a 20-year-old perspective on that.
Well, I'm not a big fan of cancel culture either. I think it's a little people can change, people can grow, but at the same time,
And not
it's
everybody's
like,
perfect.
yeah, but I don't want to support someone who is constantly doing bad things or like, masturbating in front of women. Like
Yeah,
that's
sure.
not something I would want to support.
That you have, especially that you have power over, right?
Yeah, like if
Which is what he
Bad
did.
enough to jack off, but then to try and destroy them,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like, dude.
Well, you hit the nail on the head
first thing was bad enough. Now the second thing is like, really? I mean, when
I'll
some
take-
of my students exposed Jack Lessenberry for being a creep, one of the reasons why one of them was so motivated to act when all this Me Too movement really kicked off is because after she had basically rejected his advances, he then set about trying to derail her career. I mean, it's not just a matter of this guy's a creep and we can't let creeps have captive audiences of young students to influence and take advantage of. It's that he was a vindictive creep and bastard. And
Kalina, let me ask you this. What music do you listen to?
What music do I listen to?
Yeah. I mean, do you listen to any artists that have gotten in trouble or done things that are questionable?
Don't say Chris Brown.
Well, Chris Brown, I mean...
Well, I do. I have listened to Chris Brown. He's not like one of my favorite artists.
But you're
like,
supporting a guy that beat up Rihanna, has had multiple problems with women.
Yeah.
Far worse than, if you want to compare things, far worse
R. Kelly?
than what Louis did.
No, not really R. Kelly.
Tory Lanez?
He's a little old.
I don't know.
And of course, she's way too old for him. Once you hit 16, R is done. He got no interest in you.
I just think if people commit crimes, yeah, charge them. But I don't know. I can too easily separate the work someone does from who they are.
Yeah.
And maybe
you
they're
can't
a bad
charge Louis
person.
C.K. with trying to destroy somebody's career. I don't think that's.
No, you're right. But for masturbating in front of two women that were non-consensual, that's some kind of assault.
Well, they probably didn't report
Sure it
that
is.
because they were afraid it might ruin their careers. Little did they know he would try and do that anyways.
Okay. I don't know. It's
So how's
there's
how
really
are classes going?
you don't think that's an interesting? I think it's an interesting topic, especially from a young person.
No, it is. It is. I just. Didn't Louis C.K. just perform somewhere around here recently?
Yeah, thanks for listening. Yeah, he was at Royal Oak Music Theater not that long ago.
No, but I mean,
now he has a new special out that you can buy, and he can't be canceled because he's recording it and putting it on his own website. I guess people could go after who hosts the website or the venues that host them, but
I don't even mean that he was at Royal Oak Music Theater. I thought I got some sort of notification that he's on a new tour, that he's coming around again. Maybe
he might be.
Maybe I
mean,
didn't
the guy
read
tours
that.
constantly.
But yeah, wow. So
But
he's
yeah.
sort of like he does his own sort of Gallagher routine.
Well, like
I'm
sex
clean
and-
on that. You can't support somebody that does that. Trying to ruin people.
Okay. I'm just curious about that because there's a lot of people that have done bad things that still are making movies or mostly music in the world of music is very forgiving in that realm. Look at Sex and the City had a big thing with that Chris Noth guy, Mr. Big, where his crimes are really awful. There's 3 women that have come forward with sexual assault, and he was a big asshole to them too.
The cast released a statement.
He just
this
got
morning,
dumped from the
didn't they?
Equalizer, by the way.
Yeah, the CBS show too, and he lost his tequila. I mean, he's losing things, but can you watch something with him on it now?
Can you watch something with Kevin Spacey on it?
Yes.
I mean, I don't really care that much. I personally wouldn't support that. Like, I know, like, Trisha Paytas, if you guys even know who she has countlessly done horrible things. A lot of my friends still listen to her podcast. A lot of my friends still watch her on YouTube. A lot of my friends watch her on TikTok.
Tell us about her.
People aren't perfect.
She's done a lot of things, from like blackfacing to switching religions every 4 minutes because she wants to fit in, fat shaming people, just doing a bunch of really.
That's not illegal.
Who was the mean? You guys were talking about her some time ago on Drew and Mike, who was it John Legend's wife?
Chrissy Teigen,
who was really tearing somebody up and then apologized. What was that all about?
No, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. She's not a very nice person to a few people, including that 9-year-old Kavanaugh Wallace, the actress. I forget what she was even nominated for, but you're talking about a tweet that's 10 years old. But she really got attacked because she does the attacking now on people that do that. It's a very hypocritical thing, and that's what's weird about this.
Like an ex-smoker.
Like Twitter justice is just horseshit.
Why do your friends listen to this podcast? What do you think they get out of it?
They think she's funny because she's like a hot mess person, and I just personally don't like it.
So
and
it's
I don't want to support her.
rubbernecking a little
But
bit.
if you don't
Yeah, a
think it's
little bit.
funny, I mean, is it because you don't think it's funny or because you think it's mean?
I don't think it's funny, and I think it's a little like. She's saying that she paid off some rabbi and now she's Jewish.
Okay.
And
stupid joke.
Yeah, but now she
joke.
makes all this like Hanukkah content and stuff, and like just kind of like sexualizing Judaism.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's funny. And a lot of people do. I don't think it's funny. I don't support her. So
Sort of like in Seinfeld, where the dentist becomes Jewish and
For the
starts
jokes.
telling Jewish jokes, and Seinfeld goes to the was it the Catholic priest and said, I'm offended that
Yeah.
he claims he's Jewish. Why? Because he's claiming he's Jewish? No, because
the jokes aren't
he's
funny.
stealing the jokes.
Yeah, he's giving a bad look to comics.
Yeah, he's only doing it for the
Jews.
jokes. It's not a faith issue. It's
That's why he was branded an anti-dentite.
yeah. And then he ended up selling meth right after that.
Oh, yeah. I was like, what are you talking about? Yes. Same actor from Breaking
Oh,
Bad.
he
Bryan
was
Cranston.
acting. Damn, he was good.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't a documentary.
Oh, wow. I got to keep up on this
I don't know. I
stuff.
just find the world of stand-up comedy just to be dead now. And
Yeah.
the battle with Chappelle at Netflix, I thought was just ridiculous. Because if you watch the whole, I don't know, they're jokes. And jokes can hurt, but sometimes they can
That's where,
offend.
like-
And maybe that's not a bad thing to be offended.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are very sensitive about certain things, and that's where I think comics who can like get away with everything they do, like where it's like none of their jokes are offensive, are crazy talented. But like at the same time, comedy is comedy. It's gonna offend some people, so they need to. Unless they're doing horrible things where they're like, you know, masturbating in front of people and trying to end their careers, I feel like
Allegedly.
comedy should just be comedy.
Actually, he admitted it. He apologized for it. And
That's what I mean. Like if
he's canceled. I mean, he lost a lot of movie deals. He lost a lot of shows. But the one thing he can still do is tour and put out the stuff on his own platform.
The thing about Chappelle, though, and this is often true in comedy, right? It's generally better to punch up. And the folks that are having an issue with him, at least lately, are in the trans community, right? And that's a tough community to be in a lot of ways.
I just
in terms of society and how you're
Let me
viewed,
ask you
and
this. Do you think-
violence and all of that.
Do you think, as some of those people claim, that Dave Chappelle is killing people with his comedy?
I think what they mean is that you're
laughing.
encouraging sort of a dismissive attitude, which is obviously can lead to violence.
That if people,
So that I think that's what they mean.
if they would have watched the whole special, I think they lost a lot of the context in what he was saying.
That may be true.
And that's what drives me nuts about it. You extrapolate these 1 word or 1 minute things and label a person something when it's an act.
If you go back and watch a comic in the 60s and they're punching down on gay folks, when it was a hell of a lot more dangerous to be homosexual in this country then.
Well, forget that. Look at Norm Macdonald. I mean, you go back and look at some of his stuff because he just passed, and so a lot of his stuff is popping up on YouTube. Holy crap! I mean, this guy, he's horrible to everybody.
But is it not funny?
Including
I still
teachers.
I still find it funny. Maybe it's because I'm a straight white guy.
Well, some of it is, you know, if you make fun of yourself or your demographic, I think you can get away with that. If you punch up, if you make fun of people who are more powerful and more in the majority than you are, I think you're pretty safe. But when you pick out a smaller group or a marginalized group and you start making fun of them, it almost feels like being the schoolyard bully who
Bully.
says,
It does.
let's go get so-and-so because you know you got the odds with you. You know everybody's going to be with you because all going to be like, yeah, they're different from us and there's more of us than them, so we're all safe in numbers and we can... You know, so I just think that if you're
Does
that
that
clever,
pendulum-
and Chappelle is so smart, and Louis
is.
C.K. is so smart. In fact,
Brilliant.
he's the only part of American Hustle I liked. He was the only character I really said, that dude's awesome, and he was
I liked
he was
him in
kind
role
of the
models
loser.
too.
What's that?
I liked him in role models too.
I didn't see that. But anyway,
He had a cameo.
I think if you're that smart, you don't have to take the easy one. You know, it's like when you see somebody
I don't think he.
I'm
fighting with
completely
somebody
with
and they
you.
say to him, it's like, okay, fat, so what else have you got? I'm like, okay, I'm fat, but that has nothing to do with the content of my argument. You just pick the easy thing that you know is going to be like a cheap score.
Kind of like
See, I
parting
don't-
my hair.
I don't think he does it. I don't think they do it.
Touche, chubby. That's why I got you the bike.
I don't think they do it cheaply.
I'm doubling down.
And
They got no place else to go.
And sometimes
So that nice little soliloquy is just out the fucking window right there.
You're the one who always brings up your baldness. And you're not bald. You have hair on the sides.
of what?
What were you trying to say, Mark?
I don't even know anymore.
It's always about Sean.
No, it's not.
And Carlos.
Don't project, please.
I guess the thing is sometimes
Now you're against projectionists?
can the pendulum go too far to where somebody says something that isn't viewed by the majority of people as being offensive towards a marginalized group, but yet some people in that marginalized group don't like it?
Kalina.
I mean, who's the arbiter of this? Who decides?
I feel like anyone who's getting offended is who decides
So if it offends one person, it's just no good
for them.
for them.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, they don't have to go. They don't have to watch it.
Exactly.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head there, because there's the issue is that there's a lot of people that are fans of certain comics, and those comics, there's a lot of people that don't like them that will just pull out things, 1 or 2 segments from a stand-up. They would never know, or a podcast. They would never know the show. They would never know the people, and they try to get them canceled, quote unquote.
Yeah. And I mean, that's what cancel culture is. It's not giving people a second chance. It's like,
Well, that's
you did
wrong.
this, and this 30 years ago, therefore. I never said I liked cancel culture. It's
No,
just
I know
what
you
it is.
implicitly said you did not. No, I just think that it's really weird to me as an old man.
Well, it's the internet. It's the same thing with people like cyberbullying. It's just, okay, well, I found you did something 30 years ago I don't like, showing it to everyone else now. Maybe a lot of people won't like it.
Yeah, especially when you were 14, which I don't know why a 14-year-old would be tweeting anyway.
Yeah. But like, you know what I mean?
We see that with sports figures all the time. I can't remember who the Milwaukee Brewers reliever was, who was in the All-Star game. And the second he goes into the game, someone tweeted out all his bad old tweets from when he was 14.
We saw that with Dan Campbell when he was hired as the
There you
Lions
go.
coach.
Yeah.
Right? And he was at the bonfire or whatever at Texas A&M.
Oh, right.
And he apologized.
He did.
But I don't think people, and now you apologize and people just go, you didn't mean it, or it's not good enough. And it's just, I don't know. When do we give people second chances anymore?
Yeah, we need to keep giving people second chances for sure. But it depends on what you do to some degree too.
A crime is a crime.
Right? So you pay whatever the consequences are going to be, and not everybody has to give you a second chance, but you can go back out into society and do certain things. You have no right to necessarily go back and do what you were doing previously, and that's the thing, right? Louis C.K. Is doing what you're saying he's doing. It's all him. It's YouTube. He's producing, using his own money, I assume, to do that, and put that out there, and then people like you that want to go see him.
So I'm a bad person? Bad
kidding.
people?
No,
like me?
no.
I think it's an interesting topic.
It is.
Well, if he's having a redemption tour and he seems to have cleaned up his act, I guess you give him a shot, right? But
Once again, who decides, right?
well,
Because people were very
consumer
mad.
decides. If you're willing to pay money, you've made your decision.
Okay, so it's not Twitter then.
It just depends on
Twitter
what it
seems
is
to
you
decide
do,
a lot of
right?
things these days.
It depends on what you do.
Does it?
Yeah, absolutely. Don't you think?
No, I don't. I think it depends if the mob likes you or don't. If they don't like you,
I think it depends on what you do, your intent. I mean, there's a reason we have a difference between.
Intent does not matter anymore.
No, but this guy tried to ruin a couple of comics
it's terrible.
careers.
It's horrible.
Right?
Yeah.
If he had been in a room in a corner masturbating and a couple of gals walked in on him, right?
It'd be a lot like your prom.
But if you're doing that
defense.
if you're doing that intentionally and then try to ruin them, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I just don't like how things.
It's like public figures can survive an extramarital affair or something like that, but not sexual assault. There's a difference.
Sure, I would agree.
Different levels and layers to. People are much more forgiving if you show a little bit of human weakness to certain things. If you're not trying to fuck somebody over, that's with the intent of that. To me, that's
so could you watch it and laugh, or listen to it and laugh?
It's hard because he tried to ruin those gals. It's hard to get past that. He's free to go do what he wants, right? He is.
But you can't separate that while listening to it, or
not anymore.
Okay.
I'm with Colleen on this.
Man, you guys are missing out. ML?
I'm glad Manny Python was nice to everybody, 'cause I love their shit.
It's not that you have to be nice
you
to
sure they
everybody.
were?
You can.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't
think
know.
John Cleese was a dick, but I don't think
He was a
I think
total
just
dick.
arrogant. But no, I have Bill Cosby albums. I have the first Bill Cosby show on DVD, and I'm not looking to bust him out. I know a little too much about Bill Cosby for him to elicit laughter from me. I mean, I think it's kind of hard for me. It would be hard for me to say, I know something really horrible about somebody, and now they're making me laugh. I think I'd feel kind of bad about myself. Like, what is it about this person that has moved me because I know more about them? But I think one difference with Cosby and Louis C.K. is I think Louis C.K. has been somewhat contrite, right? Hasn't he?
Yeah.
Acknowledged it and tried to make
He did
amends and
put out
all
an
that other
apology.
stuff.
Mhm.
So now, of course, he wasn't facing prison, whereas perhaps Bill Cosby may have been more forthcoming if he didn't know his freedom was on the line, but I suspect not. But
You can't associate laughter there because you know what he did, right? or what he tried to do.
Well, I mean, if Bill Cosby came out and said something that was, yeah, I mean, so when I think of the comics of Bill Cosby's era, you know, like a Dick Gregory or any of those old time guys, I never have to think after the show they went to the hotel room and raped somebody. You know, it's like, boy,
Exactly.
they had a great show, or you know. So I'm not a big Don Rickles fan, but as far as I know, Don Rickles didn't get off the stage
hit the nail-
and fail to make me laugh, and then go tie somebody up or put something in their drink.
And that's the thing. But what if he was? Well, let's just say Cosby was going and stealing wallets or billfolds or purses or whatever. He had some kind of a klepto thing. Mm-hmm. You could, and then he got caught and got out there, and he said, "I'm sorry," whatever. You could probably associate laughter with him again because
yeah, in fact, I can see him go on the stage and say, "Well, the reason why tonight's show is free is check your back pocket."
and I guess that's my point. But when it's rape,
comic gold right here.
That's pretty
when
good.
it's rape, no, you're just not. And that's what I was trying to say.
Paulina, let's say you're at the club, and I don't know what club you would be at, where Ignition would pop on the R. Kelly song. They're cool with that?
She'd be at the old folks' home.
I was going to say I probably wouldn't know the difference between that and any other song that comes on. I don't really pay that close of attention when
Or a
I'm
Chris Brown song? It's just what's weird. I think because you were saying, ML, as far as you know, these comics didn't do anything. And that's the thing. We know everything about everybody right now because of the internet.
I know Richard Pryor did a lot of coke and, you know, broke a lot of laws and did some things that at that time were not considered proper or legal or acceptable in
He caught himself on
society.
fire.
Yeah. Freebasing. And I'm sure that a lot of these guys, like, I'm sure every band I like, and I'm sure every athlete I like, and every entertainer I like has at some time taken advantage of a situation with someone who admired them and was not kind to them. And I don't like that, but I mean,
let me ask you this: could you watch The Naked Gun?
Could I watch The Naked
Oh,
Gun?
because of OJ?
Yeah. Can you watch highlights of OJ?
Well, I'll just
Have you
tell you
seen
this:
that, Kalina?
when I watched The Naked Gun,
I'm
I
sorry,
didn't
we're
think
stuck
OJ
in
was
the
that
90s.
funny.
I haven't seen that, but
Yeah, Nordberg was just not that funny. What, he got run over and he got hit by a car and he whatever. I mean, you know, I just haven't been able to take him seriously
like
since he
anything.
faked the
What about a
moonlight.
Roman Polanski movie?
Or Woody Allen?
That's even more relevant.
Would you watch a Woody Allen movie?
I have
Certainly
not-
wouldn't let him babysit.
I have not seen a new Woody Allen movie in a while.
Is that why?
That's a good question. I'm not entirely
I
sure.
just think people pick and choose as to what's the easiest.
I do know that if you go back and watch, say, Manhattan, right?
Oh, yeah.
little creepy.
It's much harder to watch, for sure.
Yeah, is
Yeah.
that Hemingway? Mary Lou?
Mariel, yeah.
Mariel Hemingway.
She was 14 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and played his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Just fucking ludicrous. I mean, ludicrous anyway, but then
Sorry,
plus what he
Kalina.
did.
Now we're back in the
Have you ever heard of
70s,
Woody
or
Allen?
early 80s.
no.
You've never heard of Woody Allen?
I mean, I've heard of him. I don't know who he is.
You're too old for him.
Oh
Don't
my
worry about
God,
it. And
I
he
was
was,
bo-
and he was
I
never
was
married
born
to
in
your mom. So
2001.
I know. I mean, there's got to be people. I'm trying to think of who do young people like.
2001.
I know. It's
Damn.
awful
It's just, that's not fair.
What do you mean it's not fair?
that we're old.
Yeah. I mean, it is fair. It's life.
Do you want to be growing up in these times, though? Do you want your early 20s to be during COVID?
Yeah. Yeah. Why not?
Think about what you did in your early 20s and what I'm doing.
I don't want to think about that.
No,
Exactly.
But you have so many fun things now that we didn't have, like the internet and dating apps.
I wouldn't consider those.
I will tell you this, Kalina. COVID's one thing, but the thing that I would have struggled with, because my two sons are your age, or a couple of years older, and Mike has a couple of daughters that are about your age too, maybe
Yeah.
maybe a little older. The pressure with social media,
Exactly.
the constant idea that you have to be on stage looking for affirmation and approval. We always have wanted affirmation and approval, but we've been able to get it through a few friends or maybe family, extended family, for some folks, church, whatever. But the fact that it's in your pocket for every minute that you're awake and you're thinking about that, attached to that idea, and what that's done for anxiety levels, depression, suicide rates, you're absolutely right. We never had to deal with anything like that.
This is a great Christmas edition. We're really bringing in the Yule spirit here.
Well, on that note, then.
It's not Christmas.
The geeks have inherited the earth.
Did I do that?
What a dork.
Does him wanting to play with us again mean that he's turning into a geek, or we're turning into cool guys?
Look, it's never been easy to be a kid, but for some reason, it's harder now because everybody thinks that you have to be a certain thing, or you can be a TikTok sensation or whatever. To those of you who know that you can just be whoever you are, congratulations. You have figured it out. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about you. If you're cool with yourself, I'm going to use a word I don't use a lot on the podcast because I don't want to sound like Sean, but fuck everybody else, okay? If you're cool with you, you're good to go.
I second that, my man, and that's the true gift, and that's always been true, right? If you're okay, then you're okay, no matter what the technology is, no matter what's going on.
Are you okay?
No. But I admire
That's
people
obvious.
but I admire people that are. Mike's not okay. Kalina is okay.
What?
And Mark is
I'm
okay.
great, man.
Judge me. You're,
So
you're like a human social media right there.
No, this is about the right percentage when you're out and about in life, and people are comfortable in their skin and people aren't. We got 4 people in here, 2 of them are comfortable.
I don't worry about anything.
Exactly, and Kalina's okay too.
As long as I'm breathing and my family's breathing.
Helena and I are good. I don't know where you scrubs came from. Anyways, our Geek of the Week is a strong candidate every week, but it would be too easy to name him our Geek of the Week. But this time, it's too hard to ignore him. And of course, I'm speaking of U.S. Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, who seems to live in a parallel universe as Omicron rages across the world. You know, before I left this country 2 weeks ago, they're like, there may be a case somewhere in the Midwest. In less than 2 weeks, I come back. It's the dominant variant in the country. That is how crazy and scary and virulent it is. And for those of you who say, well, it's not as powerful as the other ones, people are dying from this. But guess what?
What?
Ron Johnson, trying to help people stay safe, said that Standard Gargle mouthwash has been proven to kill the coronavirus. Now that's poppycock. That's foolishness. That's malarkey. It's more than that. It's dangerous. It's ignorant. It's ill-informed. It's irresponsible. And it's par for the course for Mr. Johnson. But if you don't trust the medical experts, if you don't trust anybody else on this, listen to what the good people at Listerine, who make mouthwash and could probably sell a shitload of that tonsil singeing junk if they bought into this. They say their mouthwash is not intended to prevent or treat COVID-19 and should be used only as directed on the product label. So, don't take it from me, take it from Listerine. Ron Johnson, you're our Geek of the Week.
There's an all-night party in room 7609. And you can dance together all night if you've got the time.
So we warned you a couple weeks ago that we would end Ashes to Ashes month with a spoiler. And here's a spoiler. Ready?
Yeah. Edge of my seat.
Sean is speechless.
I'm nodding.
Rapt attention, I think that's what it
I'm
is.
nodding.
Nodding
Gene
off.
Hunt. And I said Gene Hunt.
You have a pillow?
Mike's brother. Who's Gene Hunt? What?
DCI Gene Hunt is a whatever it is. He is.
Phantasmagoria?
Is that what it is?
I don't know.
Oh.
Are we going to hear the
Thanks for
church
saying
again?
something. He is the gatekeeper trying to help troubled police out of purgatory into heaven and hell. Ashes and Ashes, of course, is the BBC police procedural that has 2 incarnations, a 1970s version where police go back in the 70s and solve crimes and try and figure out whether they're trapped in time, and a 1980s version which has some of the best new wave music you've ever heard, including 2 Tribes by Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
You and your family must take cover